For 13 years, no one could topple him. Not Western sanctions, not rebel offensives, not 500,000 dead. So what changed in 11 days? November 27th, 2024. Dawn breaks over Idlib. A column of fighters begins moving. No announcement, no warning, just engines rumbling through the cold morning air. In Aleppo, government soldiers are drinking tea, scrolling through phones. They don't know that in 72 hours, they will be running for their lives. The man leading this offensive is Abu Muhammad al-Jolani. Once Al-Qaeda's man in Syria, now rebranded, calculating, patient. He has waited years for this moment, not because he grew stronger, but because Assad's protectors grew weaker. The first domino falls in silence. In Moscow, Vladimir Putin is consumed by Ukraine. His Wagner mercenaries, the shock troops who once saved Assad, are gone, dead in Prigozhin's plane crash, scattered across Africa, bleeding out in Bakhmut. The Russian Air Force that once carpet-bombed Aleppo into submission, busy elsewhere. When the rebels advance, Russian jets stay grounded. In Tehran, the calculus is even grimmer. Hezbollah, Iran's crown jewel, the force that once sent thousands of fighters to save Assad, is decimated. Israeli strikes have killed Hassan Nasrallah, eviscerated the command structure, destroyed weapons depots. The axis of resistance that once stretched from Tehran to Beirut is now a series of smoking craters. Assad's two pillars have turned to sand. November 30th. Aleppo falls. It takes the rebels 4 days to capture what took Assad 4 years to retake. Government soldiers abandon checkpoints. Officers burn documents. Entire units melt into the civilian population, shedding uniforms like dead skin. The Syrian army that looked so formidable on paper reveals itself as hollow, corrupted by years of unpaid salaries, low morale, and officers more interested in smuggling than fighting. Videos surface online, rebel fighters filming themselves in disbelief. "My country is being liberated," one says, laughing. "We are inside Aleppo city. I swear to God." In Damascus, Assad makes phone calls to Moscow, to Tehran. The answers come back the same: we cannot help you. Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, who once poured billions into saving Assad, now prioritizes Iranian soil. An Israeli strike in October has exposed just how vulnerable Iran's air defenses really are. There will be no reinforcements. December 4th, Hama falls. The ancient city, scene of the 1982 massacre where Assad's father killed tens of thousands, returns to rebel hands. Citizens pour into the streets. Statues of Hafez al-Assad are torn down. 50 years of brutal rule ended in an afternoon. The speed is staggering. Rebels are covering ground faster than anyone predicted, but it's not their strength driving the advance, it's the regime's collapse. Syrian army divisions don't fight, they negotiate, they defect, they disappear. In Ankara, President Erdogan watches with satisfaction. For years, he tried to cut deals with Assad. Assad refused. Now, Turkey's patience has run out. The rebels have Ankara's green light and its intelligence, logistics, and tacit support. December 7th, the road to Damascus opens. Homs falls after 24 hours of fighting. Government forces destroy sensitive files during their retreat. Hezbollah units, once the regime's backbone, evacuate 150 armored vehicles and hundreds of fighters toward Lebanon. They are abandoning ship. The highway junction that connects Damascus to the Alawite coast and to Russian military bases is now in rebel hands. Assad's escape route is closing. That night, senior regime officials begin quiet negotiations with the opposition. Defections multiply. In Damascus, no one knows where Assad is. His presidential guard is no longer at his usual residence. Iranian officials publicly deny he has fled. Privately, they have no idea where he is either. The hunt for Assad begins. Rebel forces sweep through his known locations. They find nothing useful. What happens when a dictator's allies abandon him? What happens when the walls close in? In Damascus, the longest night is about to begin. December 8th, 2024, 3 a.m. Damascus. The city sleeps, but in the darkness, something is moving. Southern rebel factions have taken Daraa, the birthplace of the 2011 revolution. Citizens have joined them, marching north. From Swaida, Druze fighters advance. The capital is surrounded. Assad's phone is silent now. No more calls from Moscow. No more promises from Tehran. The men who propped up his throne for over a decade have made their choice. They are saving themselves. 5:47 a.m. A Russian cargo plane lifts off from Damascus International Airport. No official manifest, no announcement, just engines screaming into the grey sky, banking hard toward the Mediterranean. On board, Bashar al-Assad, his wife Asma, their children. 53 years of family rule, fleeing in the dark like thieves. The pilot charts a course for Moscow. Behind him, a dynasty crumbles. 6 a.m., Damascus awakens. Rebel forces enter unopposed. No firefights, no last stand, just silence, and then eruption. At Umayyad Square, the ancient heart of the city, crowds gather. Someone unfurls a new flag, red, white, black, and green. The regime's banner disappears. Celebratory gunfire cracks the morning air. State television broadcasts a message the world never expected to hear. We announce the victory of the great Syrian revolution after 13 years of patience and sacrifice. Syrian Army Command sends one final transmission to its soldiers. The government has ceased to exist. You are no longer in service. Uniforms litter the streets. Weapons lie abandoned at checkpoints. Officers who once tortured and killed are now running, hiding, praying. No one recognizes their faces. 10 a.m. Sednaya prison, 30 kilometers north of Damascus, in the mountains, stands a complex known as the human slaughterhouse. For decades, Syrians whispered its name in terror. An estimated 30,000 people died here, hanged in secret, tortured to death, starved until their bodies gave out. Rebel fighters smashed through the gates. They find cells packed with the forgotten, skeletal men blinking at sunlight they haven't seen in years, women clutching children born inside these walls, prisoners who don't know their own names anymore. "Oh God, the light," one man gasps as he's carried outside. There is light. Some prisoners have been here since Hafez al-Assad's time, over 20 years. They don't believe the news. They think it's a trick. Guards have lied to them before. "Don't be afraid," a rebel tells them. "Assad has fallen. Why are you afraid?" By noon, tens of thousands are searching for answers. Families flood toward Sednaya. Cars jam the roads for miles. Some walk the final stretch uphill, past barbed wire and watchtowers, clutching photographs of children, brothers, fathers who vanished years ago. The prison reveals its secrets slowly. Blood-stained nooses, cells with numbered marks scratched into walls. Rumors spread of underground levels, tunnels where thousands more might still be trapped. Men hammer at concrete with bare hands. Excavators claw at the earth. The white helmets offer rewards for information about hidden chambers. Some families find their loved ones. The reunions are wordless, just bodies collapsing into each other. Years of grief released in seconds. Others find only ghosts. December 10th, Hafez al-Assad's grave burns. Citizens set fire to the tomb of the man who built this machine of death. The flames consume marble and memory alike. In Damascus, the presidential palace is torched. Crowds loot the opulent rooms, marveling at the wealth accumulated while their country starved. At the Umayyad Mosque, Ahmed al-Sharaa, the rebel leader once known as al-Jolani, addresses the nation. He promises no revenge, no sectarian violence, a new Syria. Whether he can deliver remains the question no one can answer. The math of collapse: 11 days, 5 major cities, 153-year dynasty. Not because the rebels were unstoppable, because Assad's world had already ended. October 7th, 2023, Hamas attacks Israel. Israel responds by dismantling Hezbollah, Assad's lifeline. Iran retreats. Russia, bleeding in Ukraine, cannot spare a single soldier. When the offensive began, Assad had no one left to call. Epilogue: Moscow. Assad and his family settle into Russian exile. The man who gassed his own people, who starved cities into submission, who built prisons designed to exterminate, now lives under Putin's protection. Back in Syria, mass graves yield their secrets. Families identify bones. Children born in prison taste freedom for the first time. The refugees begin returning. Over 1 million already. Millions more are watching, waiting, wondering if this time will be different. 13 years of war, 500,000 dead, 6 million scattered across the earth, and in the end, it took 11 days. Because the only thing holding up Assad was the world's belief that he couldn't fall. When that belief shattered, so did everything else.